Do you know what your body is silently trying to tell you after dark? Most seniors don't. That's the terrifying part. The truth is, most people over 65 don't die from dramatic heart attacks or sudden strokes. Many of them pass away quietly in their sleep. But here's the shocking truth. Their bodies were warning them for months, even years, before it happened. These warnings came every night through small signs, quiet discomforts, and habits that felt harmless. Margaret was 74. She went to bed after her usual late-night snack, left the TV on, and didn't drink any water. By morning, she was gone. No pain, no diagnosis, just gone. Her daughter kept asking, "How could this happen?" The doctor said something chilling. It didn't happen overnight. In today's video, I want to share 3 common nighttime habits that are slowly, silently weakening the bodies of seniors across America. If you've ever woken up feeling more tired than when you went to sleep, or if you've had strange dreams, chest tightness, or forgetfulness in the morning, this might be why. Before you go to bed tonight, make sure you hear this. You deserve to feel safe and rested every night. But what if the very things you do before bed without even thinking are slowly working against you? I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to open your eyes to 3 nighttime habits that many older adults do every single day. Habits that seem innocent, even comforting. But behind the scenes, they're disturbing your heart rhythm, weakening your brain, and setting the stage for long-term health decline. Think about this. Sleep is when your body repairs itself. Your heart, your immune system, even your memory. It all depends on the quality of your sleep. And these 3 habits are quietly stealing that from you. In just a moment, I'll walk you through each one. I'll share real stories from seniors who face the consequences, break down what science says is happening inside your body, and give you simple changes you can make starting tonight. So if you care about your health or the health of someone you love, stay with me. And if you're finding this helpful so far, go ahead and tap the subscribe button and turn on notifications. We release new videos every week, always focused on helping seniors live longer, stronger, and with more peace of mind. Now let's take a look at habit number 1. Falling asleep with the TV on. Habit number 1. Falling asleep with the TV on. Now at first glance, this might seem harmless, even helpful. After all, a lot of older adults say it helps them fall asleep faster. The background noise is comforting. The familiar voices from old sitcoms or news anchors feel like company, especially if you're living alone. But here's the hidden danger. This simple bedtime habit could be doing far more harm than you think. Let me tell you about Joe. He's 77, a proud Marine veteran, and a widower who's been living on his own since his wife passed 3 years ago. Every night, Joe watches his favorite Westerns until he drifts off to sleep. The volume is usually low, but the screen stays on, flickering with motion and light throughout the night. At first, it seemed to help him relax. He'd lie back in his recliner, let the familiar theme song of Gunsmoke play, and slowly doze off. But over time, Joe began waking up feeling groggy. He noticed he was more forgetful. His balance felt off in the mornings, and some days he couldn't even remember what he had eaten the night before. His daughter, concerned, scheduled a checkup. The doctor ran some basic cognitive tests and said Joe's short-term memory was declining faster than expected for his age. When she asked about his sleep, Joe shrugged and said, "I sleep with the TV on. It helps me not feel so alone." This story isn't rare. In fact, it's shockingly common. Many seniors find themselves using background noise to fight off loneliness or silence, not realizing that the very thing comforting them is robbing them of deep, restorative sleep. Studies have shown that exposure to artificial light during the night, especially blue light from screens, disrupts your body's natural circadian rhythm. That's your internal clock that tells your body when it's time to rest and repair. When the TV is on, your brain stays slightly alert. Even if your eyes are closed, the flashes of light and sound cues keep your nervous system from fully letting go. You might still get 6 or even 8 hours of sleep, but the quality of that sleep is deeply compromised. You spend less time in the deep stages of sleep, especially stages 3 and 4, which are critical for memory consolidation, immune repair, and cardiovascular recovery. According to the National Institutes of Health, older adults who are regularly exposed to light and noise at night have a 28% higher risk of developing mild cognitive impairment. That means forgetfulness, slower thinking, trouble focusing, which can lead to early-stage dementia. And if that wasn't concerning enough, poor sleep caused by light and noise can also raise your nighttime blood pressure, increase inflammation in the body, and even interfere with blood sugar regulation. Over weeks and months, these effects stack up quietly. Most seniors don't realize their daytime fatigue, balance problems, or memory slips are linked to how their brain is or isn't resting at night. But the good news is this is one of the easiest habits to change. And it doesn't mean you have to give up your favorite shows or feel lonely in the dark. What Joe's daughter did was simple. She helped him program the TV to shut off automatically using the sleep timer, set to 30 minutes, just enough for him to drift off. She also replaced the bright screen with a low-glow salt lamp that gave the room a cozy warmth without overstimulating his brain. Then, instead of TV, Joe began listening to gentle nature sounds, like ocean waves or rain on a cabin roof through a small speaker. It gave him the background noise he craved, but without the harsh light or dialogue. Within a week, Joe reported waking up clearer, less foggy, and even said he remembered his dreams for the first time in years. A month later, he told his doctor he was feeling more like himself again. The solution doesn't need to be expensive or high-tech. If you live alone and need the comfort of sound, try using a sleep-focused audio app or an old-fashioned sound machine. Look for white noise, soft music, or calming storytelling. Anything without bright visuals or sudden changes in volume. If you absolutely need the TV, use the built-in sleep timer so it turns off automatically. Keep the room as dark as possible after the screen shuts off. And consider investing in blackout curtains, which are surprisingly affordable and make a big difference. A sleep mask can also help if you're sensitive to light. For those who say silence feels too quiet or even a little frightening, try creating a bedtime routine that includes gentle, familiar sounds without the screen. Audiobooks, especially ones you've already heard before, work beautifully for this. They're comforting, engaging, but not so exciting that they keep your mind racing. And there's something special about the sound of a warm voice telling a story, like someone sitting beside you, helping you drift off to sleep, just like your favorite TV character might. It's also worth mentioning that sleeping with the TV on isn't just a problem for your brain, it affects your heart too. The constant stimulation can prevent your blood pressure from dipping during the night, a natural process that helps your cardiovascular system rest. If that drop doesn't happen, your heart continues working harder than it needs to. Over time, this increases your risk of heart failure, irregular heartbeat, and even sudden nighttime cardiac events. These aren't scare tactics. They're scientific facts we now understand better than ever. By adjusting just this one habit, you can dramatically improve the quality of your sleep, protect your memory, reduce your risk of heart disease, and wake up with more energy and clarity. And if you're someone who lives alone like Joe, remember, true comfort doesn't come from a screen. It comes from peace of mind and knowing your body is getting the rest it truly deserves. Now that we've looked at how something as simple as your TV can silently rob you of good sleep and good health, let's take a look at another bedtime habit that seems harmless, but could be even more dangerous. It's something many seniors do thinking it's the safe choice, but in reality, it can lead to life-threatening consequences during the night. Let's talk about the second habit, going to bed dehydrated. 2. Going to bed dehydrated. Habit number 2, going to bed dehydrated. This is one that almost no one talks about, but it's something many older adults do every single night, on purpose. Why? Because of a very real and understandable fear. Waking up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. Nobody wants broken sleep. Nobody wants to risk tripping in the dark. And for those with mobility issues, walking to the bathroom at 2 a.m. can feel like crossing a minefield. So the solution many seniors turn to is simple: stop drinking water after dinner. But what if I told you that this small habit could be silently increasing your risk of heart attack, stroke, and confusion while you sleep? Let me tell you about Carol. She's 80 years old, full of life, and used to be the kind of person who never missed her morning walks. But one morning she didn't show up. Her friend Nancy called and eventually found her on the kitchen floor, confused, weak, and unable to move her left arm. Carol had suffered a minor stroke in the early hours of the morning. Thankfully, she survived and was taken to the hospital in time. But the doctor said something surprising: dehydration was a key factor. You see, Carol had developed a habit over the past year of avoiding all fluids after 6 p.m. She'd gotten tired of those late-night bathroom trips. But without realizing it, her blood had become thicker and more viscous at night, especially during cold months when the air was dry and she sweated less. That thickened blood made it harder for her heart to pump and increased the chances of clots, something that can easily lead to a stroke while the body's at rest. Science backs this up. As we age, our sense of thirst diminishes. That means by the time you actually feel thirsty, your body may already be dehydrated. Add to that the fact that our bodies lose more water at night than we think, through breathing, perspiration, and even the dry air from heaters or fans, and it becomes clear: going to bed with too little fluid in your system is a real danger. According to studies from the Mayo Clinic and the American Heart Association, mild dehydration at night can lead to increased blood pressure, disrupted sleep patterns, elevated heart rate, and reduced oxygen flow to the brain. Even more troubling, dehydration is one of the most common causes of nighttime confusion and dizziness in older adults, sometimes misdiagnosed as dementia or early cognitive decline. But here's the good news: preventing this is incredibly simple. It doesn't require drinking gallons of water or waking up soaked in sweat. It just takes intention. Doctors recommend a light, measured approach. About 30 to 45 minutes before bed, sip half a glass of water, not a full one. This gives your body time to process the fluid and reduces the chance you'll need to urinate during the night. If you're worried about water retention or flushing out important minerals, try adding a tiny pinch of sea salt or a splash of electrolyte solution. This helps your body absorb the fluid more effectively without it going straight to your bladder. You're not just hydrating, you're nourishing your cells. Carol, after recovering from her stroke, made a few key changes. She set an alarm for 8:30 p.m. every night to remind herself to drink just 4 ounces of water. She also started using a humidifier in her room to keep the air from drying out her skin and lungs. Her doctor also encouraged her to eat hydrating snacks in the early evening, like cucumber slices or a small piece of melon, which contain water and essential minerals. And perhaps most importantly, she talked to her daughter about installing nightlights and adding a grab bar near the bathroom. That way, if she did need to go at night, she'd feel safer. Just knowing she had a plan in place reduced her anxiety, and ironically, she found she was sleeping through the night more peacefully than ever before. Some people worry that drinking anything before bed is risky, but dehydration itself carries much greater dangers. When your blood thickens, your heart has to work harder. When your brain gets less fluid, you wake up foggy. When your muscles aren't properly hydrated, your risk of nighttime leg cramps, twitching, and falls increases. You don't want to go to sleep with your body under stress. You want it to rest, repair, and renew. That can't happen if your system is dry and strained. If you're taking diuretics or other medications that increase urination, it's important to talk to your doctor about how to balance your hydration throughout the day. You may need to front-load your fluid intake in the morning and early afternoon and taper off in the evening, but not eliminate it entirely. Even a few sips at bedtime can make a world of difference. And if you wake up at 3 a.m. feeling dry-mouthed or dizzy, keep a small glass of water by your bed. Just 1 or 2 sips can help stabilize your body and prevent a cascade of problems. We all want peaceful sleep, but peace doesn't come from avoidance. It comes from preparation. Hydrating your body gently before bed isn't just about comfort. It's about survival. It protects your heart, supports your brain, and helps you wake up ready to live another beautiful day. Now that we've talked about how something as simple as skipping a glass of water can become a hidden threat during the night, it's time to explore the third and final habit. This one has to do with something you can't see or feel, but it affects every breath you take while you sleep. Let's talk about nighttime temperature and air quality, and how it can quietly harm your body if ignored. 3. Ignoring nighttime temperature and oxygen levels. Habit number 3. Sleeping in a room that's too warm, too stuffy, or poorly ventilated. This is one of those things many people don't think about. After all, you're asleep, right? You're under the covers, eyes closed, unaware of the air around you. But that doesn't mean your body isn't affected. In fact, what you breathe in while you sleep and the temperature you are surrounded by can have a major impact on your heart, your brain, and your ability to fully rest. For older adults whose bodies don't regulate temperature or oxygen as efficiently, this can quietly become a serious health threat. Let me introduce you to Frank. He's 83 years old, a retired electrician, and someone who has lived in the same house for nearly 50 years. Frank has always liked his room warm. "I grew up in the cold," and he'd say, "so I deserve a little comfort now." He kept the thermostat at 75 degrees F all year round and closed all the windows at night, even during spring and fall. His bedroom felt cozy, but it was also sealed tight. Over time, Frank began waking up with a strange tightness in his chest. Not pain exactly, just a pressure that made him feel like he couldn't take a full breath. Some mornings he felt dizzy standing up, and his energy would crash by lunchtime. His daughter, worried, took him to a pulmonologist, thinking it might be early COPD. But the doctor asked a question that surprised her. "What's his room like at night? Is there airflow? What temperature does he sleep in?" It turned out Frank wasn't sick. His environment was. By sealing his room and cranking the heat, he had created a space low in oxygen and high in CO2 by morning. Without enough ventilation, the air had become stale and dry. Add to that the natural drop in oxygen saturation that occurs during sleep, and it's no wonder his chest felt tight. The warm temperature didn't help either. According to the National Sleep Foundation, the ideal bedroom temperature for optimal sleep is between 65 and 68 degrees. Any warmer than that, and the body struggles to cool itself down, leading to restless sleep, shallow breathing, and elevated nighttime heart rate. For seniors whose internal temperature regulation is already less effective, this stress can lead to increased blood pressure, higher risk of atrial fibrillation, and greater fatigue the next day. Here's what most people don't realize. When you're asleep, your body enters its most vulnerable state. Your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, and your brain enters cycles of repair. But if the air in your room is low in oxygen, or if your body overheats under heavy blankets or a high thermostat, your nervous system never truly relaxes. Instead, your body stays slightly on edge, fighting to cool down or draw in enough air. Over time, this subtle fight triggers stress hormones like cortisol, which can damage your immune system and interrupt memory consolidation. That's why people like Frank wake up feeling exhausted, even after 8 hours in bed. The solution, though, is simple and life-changing. After that doctor's visit, Frank's daughter made a few easy adjustments. First, they set the thermostat to 67 degrees at night. It felt chilly at first, but after a few days, Frank's body adjusted, and he actually said it helped him fall asleep faster. They also opened the window just an inch or two, enough to allow a slow exchange of air without making the room drafty. On nights when the weather was too cold, they used a small air purifier with a low fan setting to keep the air circulating. Within a week, Frank stopped complaining about the chest pressure. He said he felt lighter in the morning, like he could breathe again. His mood improved. He even started going for morning walks again. If you're worried about catching a chill at night, don't be. Sleep studies show that a cooler room actually helps the body fall asleep faster and stay in deeper stages of sleep longer. You can always add an extra blanket if needed, but keeping the room cool is more beneficial than bundling up in a warm, stagnant space. Also, adding a small fan, not necessarily to blow on you, but to move air, is one of the best investments you can make. It helps regulate airflow and prevents carbon dioxide buildup from your own breathing. For seniors who use oxygen therapy or have respiratory conditions, it's even more critical to ensure the room has some ventilation. Many older homes are so well insulated that they trap pollutants, dust, and stale air overnight. Adding a HEPA air purifier, cracking a window slightly, or running a ceiling fan can drastically improve your sleep quality and, over time, your daytime energy, memory, and even mood. Another tip: consider removing heavy curtains or adding sheer ones that allow light in the morning. Natural light helps reset your circadian rhythm, which improves nighttime melatonin production. And don't underestimate the power of fresh air. Even 10 minutes of window time during the day, letting your room breathe, can change the entire atmosphere at night. It's easy to dismiss things like room temperature and air quality as minor comfort issues, but they're not. They're survival factors, especially for seniors. Your heart, lungs, and brain need the right environment to rest and heal. And what happens during those nighttime hours shapes everything that happens the next day, from how steady you walk to how clearly you think. Frank is just one example, but his story reflects what thousands of seniors experience without realizing it: a subtle, creeping exhaustion caused by something they can control. And when you fix the environment you sleep in, you give your body the chance to do what it was designed to do: restore, repair, and recharge. Now that you've seen how these 3 nighttime habits, leaving the TV on, skipping hydration, and ignoring your sleep environment, can silently harm your health, let's take a moment to reflect, because the most dangerous habits are always the ones we don't notice until it's too late. If you're still with me, that means you truly care about your health or someone you love. Comment the number 6 below so I know you're here. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss another video that could protect your future. So let's take a moment to remember what we've uncovered today. First, we talked about the danger of falling asleep with the TV on. It might seem comforting, but the light and noise disrupt your brain's natural rhythm, preventing deep sleep and increasing your risk of memory loss and heart strain. Then we explored the habit of going to bed dehydrated. A simple choice to avoid nighttime trips to the bathroom can thicken your blood, lower oxygen to your brain, and raise your risk of stroke and confusion, all while you sleep. Finally, we looked at something often ignored: the temperature and air quality in your bedroom. A room that's too warm or poorly ventilated can quietly stress your heart, reduce oxygen flow, and leave you waking up exhausted and foggy. These 3 habits are common. They seem small, but over time they add up, and they can quietly take away the most precious thing you have: your health, your clarity, and your peace. But here's the most important part. You can change all of this starting tonight. You don't need expensive tools or complicated routines. Just awareness, a few simple adjustments, and a commitment to treating your sleep with the same care you give your meals or medications. Because sleep isn't just rest, it's restoration. It's protection. It's one of the most powerful things you can do for your future, and it's entirely in your hands. Let's finish strong with a little gratitude and a small but important promise to ourselves. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If even one of these habits made you stop and think, then today was worth it. I believe every senior deserves to wake up feeling stronger, clearer, and more alive. And that starts with simple choices we make each night. If you learned something today, I'd love for you to share it in the comments. What habit surprised you the most? What change will you try tonight? I read every comment, and your stories mean more than you know. If you haven't yet, please hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll never miss a video that could help protect your health or the health of someone you love. Take care of yourself tonight. Sleep deeply, breathe fully, and remember, every small change is a step toward a longer, better life. I'll see you in the next video.